My thought for the day for the 3rd of February is taken from Psalm 14. The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt, their deeds are vile, there is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the sons of men, to see there are any who understand, any who seek God. All have turned aside, they have become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. Will evildoers never learn? Those who devour my people as men eat bread, and who do not call on the Lord. There they are, overwhelmed with dread, for God is present in the company of the righteous. The evildoers frustrate the plans of the poor, but the Lord is their refuge. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion, when the Lord restores the fortunes of his people. Let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. The first verse, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God," echoes much of what is in today's news and thinking that makes me shudder. The foolishness of contemporary people and the noises they're making in the media, with our intolerance of other viewpoints and cancel culture, and the madness of trying to punish contemporary organisations for the sins of their forefathers. I must make a greater effort to shut down my consumption of such ungodly chatter. I've never done Twitter, but then there are those gloomy news programmes I watch. It's so hard not to feel downhearted and fearful. I must remember that we, God's people, have hope and a future to look forward to. But the dilemma is that I want to be well informed. I don't want to be oblivious to the plight of the many, maybe living on the eastern borders of Ukraine or huddled in an unheated hovel in Kabul. Yesterday, in his sermon, Jan made the very helpful, comforting thought that if we want to know God, understand who he is, all we need to do is look to Jesus. Yes, that is where my comfort comes from. It's in the example of Jesus' day-to-day serving of his people and in the washing of Judas's feet and his help to the undeserving. After all, we should all know that we are all undeserving and equally full of sin. So you could say the first line of Psalm 14 should read, "The fool says in his heart, there is no Jesus." And for me, that statement is far more horrifying because I love Jesus and seem at this point to know him a lot better than his Father God. His example in the New Testament is how I know God, the way he consistently outwits those Pharisees and always shows mercy and compassion. And remember that sinner on the cross. He is my hero. I found a helpful comment online about this psalm. This psalm was written when God's people were experiencing some sort of oppression, but we know neither the kind of oppression nor the identity of the oppressor. Well, that does give me some sort of comfort. The realization that godly people have always through the millennium faced oppression. It's just too easy to believe that it must have been just so much easier, safer for those Christians living in the last century. The Victorian age, when everybody went to church after Wesley had preached throughout the land, and was it his brother that wrote all those hundreds of worthy hymns we still sing? But there is nothing new under the sun. Wherever you are on your journey to know God, our very thoughts and hopes will keep on jarring with the self-righteous and the ungodly. The psalm ends on a note of yearning for salvation, for the day when God will restore the fortunes of his people, and Israel shall be glad. So today, when I start worrying about the looming war or starvation in Afghanistan, or the destruction of the very heart of our culture and freedoms by the baying mob who seem to inhabit our universities and publishing houses, I will cry out to our mighty God, for whom nothing is impossible, and I will look forward with hope to the time when he will bring justice, peace, and restoration.